I've been asked to talk about the System 6000 today from TC Electronic, and I gotta tell you guys, the System 6000 is my absolute favorite toy and has been for 10 years. Every day, in every session, I must tell you, and I know this sounds like a sales piece, but I use this box for every job that I do.
What do you want this product for? Well, the same thing you want: VU meters, peak meters, the jellyfish, and of course your ears. With the advent of 5.1, TC was, I think, the first to even come close to satisfying the requirement for 5.1 reverbs. Not only did they sound good, but they were very flexible. The user could go in and do many things, or use presets. Boatload of presets, some designed by themselves, some designed by the best people in the business, let's face it. But you really had control over it. You weren't at the mercy of a few dial-ups or a few switches, and they all sounded great. And that's something about the whole line of the TC stuff for the professional, is that you know when you buy something from TC Electronics, it's going to work out of the box. And it really does work. And you know you're going to get upgrades. You're not going to pay through the nose for the upgrades. They're going to be reasonable, and they're going to be worth it too. It is one of the few pieces of hardware, outboard gear, what we would call outboard gear, that we still use today. And I can't say that about anything else.
One of the great things about the System 6000 is that there are 4 discrete stereo engines within the system. I'm able to run a completely discrete reverb on each one of the engines. And in actual fact, I can do reverbs or delays or even compression if I want to on the other engines simultaneously. It's a very flexible unit, and there's we've got a lot of the algorithms in there for compression and limiting and that kind of stuff as well. But the thing that really attracted me to it was just the sound of the reverbs. If you want to create a mix that's very clear and has a lot of space in it, because even when I am mixing in the box, I very often will use the digital inputs for the TC, just because it sort of gets you out of the box in a sense, because there's that dedicated DSP that's just for the reverbs, and I do find that I get a much better sound stage, much more clarity in the mix.
A lot of TC stuff is featured. M6000, wouldn't leave home without it. Fantastic piece of kit. Mainly used on Dave's vocals, Martin's vocals. There's some nice reverbs. We're here at the Roskilde Festival 2010, and I'm using a lot of TC Electronics equipment, much the same as I was on Depeche Mode last time we met. From all the reverbs, I'm using M6000, which again a favourite of mine. It's always in the rack every time I go out. The current preset I'm using on Rob's vocal is one that I got from that he was using in the studio on the album, which is the Bright Male vocal, which when slightly modified makes a fantastic vocal reverb.
It had 4 engines with fabulous reverb, fabulous processing, fabulous limiting, de-essing. It was the box that we were missing.
This one was hands down the best sounding reverb that I had heard.
Got all the features you're used to from the old 6000 with a lot of new stuff, including the radar.